Hello everyone. Today I am going to give a presentation on Dreamworks, on the two case studies Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron and Shrek. I'm going to examine these films' success and failure. Dreamworks' animated film Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron is a classic example of the directional choices made by Jeffrey Katzenberg, co-founder of Dreamworks Animation, choosing to adopt both traditional and new animation technologies, but yet staying true to the original 12 principles and ideals of animation. This movie is groundbreaking, as the film's opening shot, where an eagle flies through the canyon and all the known landmarks of the Wild West. This shot took alone 6 months to construct, implemented through the use of 3D environments and 2D textures traditional drawing. This is not only a fantastic cinematic opening to the film, but also a miraculous technological discovery, which changed the development process of animation. As a result of merging these techniques, Jeffrey Katzenberg coined the term tradigital animation. Here are some quotes. A great example of the combination of these parallel techniques, CGI and hand-drawn animation, can also be seen in the scene where Spirit is running across the open plains of the old American West, where the camera does a 360-degree shot with no cuts. This panoramic shot created using the use of 3D models, such as a horse being Spirit. Then the camera zooms up to Spirit, showing the male horse in detail, and transitions to hand-drawn animation. This combination of technologies both enriches the shot and gives an illusion of depth and dimension. I would argue that this is the first example of these techniques being merged together in such a refined way. Therefore, a pivotal turning point in animated feature films. Dreamworks as a company have adopted new technology of computers at the time and remains current, however not abandoning traditional animation altogether, but bringing a new rich approach to audiences. The goal for this film is to create a film that uses what is unique about traditional animation, but create an environment that audiences now expect to see in 3D movies. Jeffrey Katzenberg. Steven Spielberg spent over 4 years completing this shot and 4 more years beyond this for the film to be made. Therefore, as stated in these quotes, Dreamworks has spent a large amount of time within the development of the script and narrative, was carefully planned out and thought of every point in the film. This is another classic example of the ingenious directional decisions made by Steven Spielberg and Jeffrey Katzenberg. Now I am going to review the audience reception and public opinion for this film, understanding the success and failure. The slides demonstrates Rotten Tomatoes, a public website where viewers can rate the film that they have watched, in this case Spirit, the Stallion of the Cimarron, 2002. Here is a review. The animation is a step down from Disney, but overall good standards. The part that lets this film down is the CGI. Commonly seen in late 90s CGI not standing up to the test of time or not being refined enough to wow audiences at the time it was made. This was a new technology in its infancy and early development. This has been commented on by reviewers such as Kevin Cooper, a reviewer on YouTube on his channel Orange Carousel. However, I cannot say with all aspects of this film considered that it was a truly ambitious effort by Dreamworks Animation. DreamWorks had hoped, however, I believe, that this movie would have been a great success. Reasons why this film may not have done as well as DreamWorks had hoped. Not something that audiences were used to seeing, adopting a different approach, like not having animals talking in styles commonly seen in Disney movies. Letting the expressions on the horse's face do the talking and translate the narrative. It is true that this film lost money at the box office, but was it because this movie was differently stylistically constructed using 2D and 3D animation? Or was it simply because it was a less childish approach to telling a narrative? Too hard for audiences to palate the story. Now I am going to review and critically examine the movie Shrek. Due to the questionable negative response, Rotten Tomatoes, a rating system created for the public audience, Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron and Shrek. Shrek was not intentionally a great success in the DreamWorks' mind. It was not viewed by executives to be a major movie, and this is reflected in the production budget of the film. The cult film that we know today has defined a generation. The current trend to use both adult and children's sense of humour is encapsulated in society of the time, displaying a newfound universal humour which was both appealing to families and adults alike, supporting a wider audience and demographic. The combination of well-timed witty remarks and strong narrative and appealing character design is a classic example of DreamWorks observing audience trends and trends within the animation industry at the time. This can be seen in the example of Eddie Murphy, who played Donkey. DreamWorks pioneered software that give physicality and weight and realism in the particular examples of facial animation and fabric simulations. DreamWorks is constantly pushing the boundaries of what audiences are expecting to see on screen, designing virtual muscle systems, a form of character rigging. Progressing from traditional values within animation, also seen to be inspired by Stallion of the Cimarron, set designers created miniature life models and environments which would inform the animation and development processes. Animators needed to enrich their own understanding of the world to effectively communicate the narrative and immersion to audiences. As you can see, Shrek was a much greater success than Spirit. Audience reception proves this, and the cult following seen today and the amount of merchandise surrounding Shrek. I believe that this was because Shrek was adhered more to what audiences wanted to see. This film being less serious, yet having a strong narrative, with a well-developed characters which are now ingrained in our imaginations today. Here is my bibliography. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope you have enjoyed it and it has been informative. I will now take questions. Thank you.